No. How do you like the architecture of the Seattle Public Library?
Never been there.
It's a really cool building downtown.
It's made of bricks.
I've never seen it.
Actually.
It's not?
There's not a single brick in the Seattle Public Library.
I've never seen it.
I was wondering why there were no books in that building.
Well, was that two? Are we done now?
I think we're done.
All right.
Hello?
Guy.
Go ahead.
Why are we laughing? What is funny?
I don't know.
Granny, do you have a wrestling report to do?
Yeah.
I think he was my favorite, Sean.
Sean
He's
Connery.
most people's favorite. Yeah.
I didn't know they had that many stars.
89 years old, Granny. He's 1 year younger than you are.
Gee, let him get in touch with me.
Is he single?
Hours of thunder over the course of a year. to be a sellout of 50,000. Now you have room to do 20 to 35,000 shows more often, leading to higher revenue and a higher level of excitement for you. Well, that's certainly the idea now, isn't it? But can you put 35,000 people regularly into a stadium? I guess we shall find out. Obviously, Royal Rumble or a WrestleMania. Joe, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. And yes, I apologize for the first segment. It's a very, very long story. But the gist of it is that everything runs through a machine right there at my house. Everything. Mike, Dave, Filthy, Lance, Vinny and Craig, if they're not here, Byline, everything. I was about to do the show, and I couldn't log into the box. Nothing was happening. All the programs were gone. It had been wiped. So anyway, somehow, Admin Tony managed to figure, and I can't tell you how. He explained to me the machine lost its mind. That's how he explained it. I don't know if you know this or not, but machines don't have minds. So anyway, we're going to do a little bit of maintenance here, and hopefully that never happens again. But here we are, everybody. We got a lot to talk about here today. And we'll do Dynamite here in a while. I guess I should get some news out of the way first. Dynamite I thought it was an excellent show. And there's a lot I can talk about. Thankfully, there's a Bryan and Vinny show tonight, where Vinny and I will have 90 minutes to do Dynamite and NXT 2.0, because there's easily 90 minutes to say about these two shows here. But first off, COVID's all over again. If you guys thought the pandemic was over, it's not. We had, Fujita drop the title due to testing positive for COVID, because in Japan, the rules in this fake sport are that if you're advertised for a title match, and you can't be there, you're just stripped of the title. It's not delayed. It's not, so you had to lose a title. Or maybe there's other reasons. Right, Mike? Huh? So anyway, that happened there. And then Hangman Page, he could not make it to Dynamite because he also is suffering from COVID. And they were going to shoot an angle which would lead to the announcement of Hangman versus CM Punk. But since Hangman couldn't be there, they just announced that's the main event of the pay-per-view. And I think everybody, there's nobody who watches the show for any length of time who would be surprised by that or not expect that. I mean, we've known that for a while. So Hangman was off the show. He does expect to be there next week. Will Ospreay, Tatsumi Fujinami, both off this weekend's New Japan Wrestling Dontaku event due to COVID-19. As a result of PCR testing, both are off the card. That will take place May 1 at the Fukuoka Dome. As a result, mystery opponents can replace Fujinami in the opening tag match. Ishii will now challenge Hiroshi Tanahashi for the IWGP United States title. Rest of the lineup, Okada and Naito for the world title. Tanahashi Ishii is noted for the U.S. title. Desperado versus Taiji Ishimori for the junior title. Evil versus Tama Tonga for the never openweight title. The great Okan and Jeff Cobb. I feel like he needs something to add to his name as well. They will face Goto and Yoshihashi, and Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens three-way for the tag team titles. Taguchi and Master Wato versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Dookie for the junior title. Hiromu Takahashi versus Yo. And Shingo, Bushi, and whoever's replacing Fujinami against Taichi, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi Takamichinoku. Zack Sabre Jr. going from the main event for the IWGP Heavyweight title to jerking that curtain.
Will you stop it?
He is. That's just what happened. I'm appalled. I'm not celebrating it. I'm just noting. He went from the top of the mountain to he's on the bus that takes you to the bottom of the mountain. So then you can climb. But anyway, that's the lineup there. And also, as a result of spring break, many COVID positives at my daughter Paisley's school. And then she woke up with a runny nose this morning.
Oh, no.
Thankfully, we can go down to QFC, and there's approximately 280,000 boxes of COVID rapid tests.
At the KFC?
The QFC, not the KFC, you idiot.
Sorry.
Although they might be the KFC as well. But she's negative, so that's good.
Good.
And what else do we have here? Let's get the news out of the way first, and then we'll... Bo Dallas wants to return. Hear that one? He's coming back. He's been living on his farm with Liv Morgan, which begs the question, why would he want to come back?
I know.
But apparently he does. So that's news, I guess. And then I guess it's news to note that the former Ember Moon, now Athena, sure didn't like it in WWE. That's why she left. Breaking news here. So that's that.
Yeah,
and then
wasn't
I guess,
having fun anymore is what a lot of it boils down to.
join the club. By the way, you know how much heat I got over the last 48 hours or so for having the absolute temerity to like Raw and not think that NXT 2.0 this week was terrible? People think I make up this criticism, or they're like, oh, he's always listening to the chat, or Bro, no. I mean, it's everywhere. It's on the board. It's on Twitter. I was bombarded. People so angry that I would have the temerity to say that Raw was like the best show in a long time, the best Raw, and I can't even remember how long. And there were, fun things here and there on NXT 2.0. Man, how dare
it's like
you, bro.
there's levels to this, with where we're at right now on the scale of Raw. It was a fine Raw. If you want to put this up against 1999 Raw, then no, maybe it wasn't. But come on. There have been far more offensive, worse, juxtaposed shows than we saw on Monday, and the same thing goes for Tuesday. Tuesday is just what they think about NXT a lot of times is just a referendum on what they think about NXT overall, because, again, it is a wacky, goofy show, but there are some nuggets that you can pull out of there and actually say we're positive. So, how it goes.
Let's read some of her quotes here. My last 4 months was just one of those moments that I wasn't having fun anymore. It started with Shotzi being gone, Shotzi being drafted. Sitting at home, I got a phone call saying, hey, we don't want you to be upset, but Shotzi just got moved to SmackDown. She is debuting with Tegan. We don't want you to be upset, but we're doing something that's going to upset you. I was like, but we're the tag team. We have merch. We're doing fun things. We had just finally gotten into our groove. She said she spoke to Triple H shortly after. He expressed that he wasn't sure what was happening. Not the only time. She also mentioned members of the writing team told her they had no idea her and Shotzi had been a team in NXT. Yeah. I was like, hey, let me go on a losing streak. Let me get super frustrated. Let me turn. Then the first match happens, and I'm off TV for 4 weeks. Then Hunter disappeared. I was supposed to be getting a match with Sarai. Ended up getting a rash on my arm. Had an allergic reaction to something that they thought was something else, so they pulled me from the match. They go, you're turning in this match, but we want to make it subtle. So they kind of turned me, but they don't. Then there was a lot of confusion on what was supposed to happen. I was like, I don't know if I turned heel or not. Does this all sound familiar? Then I'm off TV for 3 weeks. I have the match with Mandy, and they're like, we're finally pulling the trigger on this. I get a note that week saying, hey, in 2 weeks, we need you to dye your hair fire-colored again. We need you to get the red contacts. We're going back to the old Ember Moon character. This is per Vince. You're going to turn heel, and you're going to turn heel as your old character. Shot a video. She says, I get the video ready. I'm ready to show everyone after TV. And they're like, hey, we have some bad news. Vince is pulling you off TV indefinitely. I sat there and I was like, what did I do wrong? She then got emotional talking about her frustration. When you care about something, you care about this business as so much more, not just for yourself, but for everybody involved. It hurts so much more. On some level, I knew I was leaving. I'd already been gone. Brought an extra bag, kept it in the locker room so I could pack all my stuff and leave. I'd been there for like a month. She mentioned also she had a meeting. They called a meeting. Remember that Women's Evolution? They called a meeting about talent dressing sexier, asking them to look more like Mandy Rose. And if you read all the quotes on that one, yeah, see, there's a lot of things that, people don't talk about because it's 2022. But, don't think this ain't the old WWE, everybody. In a lot of ways. So anyway, that's her. And, I got an email yesterday. Some bloke was, he was so angry at me because I couldn't remember. And now I can remember her name, so I guess he helped. He was so angry I could not remember Sophia Cromwell's name. And he was like, well, they mention it later in the show. I'm like, bro, I don't care if they mention it later in the show. She's been on TV multiple times. She's never identified. Like, this ain't on me, dude. And there's this big, long email about how I'm the bad guy. And I'm just sitting there thinking, is this one of the writers? Because it sounded like one of the writers wrote me an email because he was angry. And I'm just saying, maybe you should do a better job, brother. If it's a fan, I apologize for thinking you're an incompetent writer for NXT. But, bro, the problem isn't me, dude. It ain't me. I I can't help but notice that I sit here and I rant about stupid things on these shows, and everyone gets mad at me about it. And then this talent leaves and says the exact same damn thing I was saying. Doesn't know if she's a baby face or a heel. Bro, I ask that question all the time. Is Legado del Fan, are they baby faces or heels? What about, the mobster bloke? Is he a baby face or a heel? Because he sure damn worked as a baby face, valiantly fighting his way to the ring at the end of his match. Then Legado takes out his leg. Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? It's not my problem here. I'm not the problem. So get off my back, you dorks.
Nah. I have nothing to add to that. I agree 100%. You're exactly right. And, they're used to Chiron with a lot of things, referees.
Oh, wait, I got the
faceless.
thing here. Hold on.
Go
Ember
ahead.
Moon Athena says she was extremely unhappy during her final days in NXT, where Vince wanted her to dress in, quote, fishnet booty butt cheek shorts, and they had a 2-hour meeting telling girls to learn to be sexy and alter their gear to make it more revealing, similar to Mandy Rose.
Get the hell out of here.
Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Hey guys, it's Denise, and I've gathered some of the best highlights from the Cody Rhodes WWE Media Scrum. Take a look.
I think he did, we did speak, and I think Triple H did it in such a Triple H fashion. Everybody had come on the bus to say hello, to talk a little bit about what may happen. The very last one was Triple H, and ooh. My assistant, my former assistant from AEW was, he came as a friend. He was on it, and he knows the world's worst kept secret that Hunter is my favorite wrestler. And that was a really, this has been a wild, tear-filled weekend, but it was just a good moment. Also, just to see him healthy, and I know, retirement came as it did, but to do some justice, to not only see my favorite wrestler and somebody that, gosh, I wanted to model so many things after and such, but Seth being his protege, and to be able to give some of those fan service, perhaps moments, for the fans, but also for Triple H, because all wrestlers, we're all marks and fans, and even at the highest level, which he's been. But that was really touching. Especially, you got to put it in perspective. As many of you know, I talked a lot of smack. I destroyed his throne. I mean, I was very loud and vociferous and just very intense on getting angry. I was just angry. And that was a moment of no anger. Because why would I be angry? You guys are paying me this absurd amount of money, and I get to be me. And especially coming from where I had left here, there's nothing to be angry about. It's more a matter of one, chapter ended, a beautiful chapter at AEW, which I'm so proud of. I started in the WWE system at 1920, and I was on the road full time, never one weekend off, except when I tore my trap, and that was 3 weeks. That's where the mustache came from. So that was the only time I ever had off. In the 10 years I was with WWE, that'd be really fun. I loved watching my dad wrestle when he was older, but also it's hard, and people forget it's like a 36-year-old going on 50 is more what it feels like, just because of the schedule I had. So I don't know. I think I'm going to get away from absolutes, because I was the king of absolutes for the last 6 years, and a lot of them coming back to bite me in the ass. So, which is fine. That's so good. We change our minds. We change stuff like that. But yeah, I think maybe 40.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of Wrestling Observer Live.
Listen, I got to make something very clear, then we'll get into Dynamite here, okay? I don't know if Vince McMahon used the term booty butt cheek shorts, okay? I said, quote, that was the quote from the person that wrote the email. But I will read the exact quote from Ember Moon Athena in her interview here. She says, I remember going to my, this is her direct quote. I remember going to my makeup artist and going, quote, I'm so unhappy, I'm so unhappy. And we'd have to sit through stupid meetings about how we would have to dress sexy. And I remember looking at someone else like, I cater to children. I am not about to wear a fishnet booty butt cheek shorts because we had a 2-hour meeting about how to dress like Mandy Rose. That's not fair. Not everyone is going to be Mandy. Mandy is absolutely phenomenal. She's an amazing person, but not everyone is Mandy Rose. I started seeing this downslope as soon as Hunter was gone. And like for the first little bit, we didn't know why he was gone. We just knew he wasn't there. I got so angry. I remember sitting there and I was like, I did nothing wrong. I didn't piss off Vince. So this booty butt cheek, as she termed the shorts, this dressing sexy, all of this was NXT 2.0.
Yeah.
This was after Vince was gone. This
Your
was
arguments are non-starters.
exactly what I said when they started NXT 2.0, which is it's Vince's show now.
Yeah.
It's Kevin Dunn, and bro, a zebra doesn't change its stripes, whatever that stupid saying is. You guys think things have changed with you guys think a 76-year-old man has changed? Well, think again. And there's a lot more than that, bro.
Well, look, I know we got to get to Dynamite, so it doesn't matter. But it's like if that's what you want to pull out of this and take that, and well, she didn't, he didn't really say. Who cares? It's not the point. She said it. She put it in her terms as far as what they want her to wear. That's not the issue. That's not the issue at all. And if that's what you want to take and try to play with, you look like an idiot doing it. Oh, well, she didn't say. It doesn't matter how it was said. You know what the result is because if you watch the show, you see what it is and you see what they turned it into. Everybody's horny. There's a zillion colors. Nobody can wrestle for the most part. And they wanted to go with really young women in really revealing outfits, which is not anything new when it comes to Vince and Kevin Dunn and their mentality. So cut the crap with this and people trying to get offended about what she said in the interview or trying to take one quote out of it because you didn't read the interview, probably because you can't read. But let's move to Dynamite.
Owen Hart qualifier Dex Harwood Cash Wheeler. They had an excellent match. I was certain the finish was going to be that victory roll, sit down into the pin they did in that Bret Owen match years and years ago. But in fact, that's not what happened. But they did recreate that spot and a lot of other Bret Owen spots. And they had a great match. And they traded small package at the end. And Dax pinned him. So Dax Harwood is moving on in the tournament. This was a really good match. They teased a little bit of dissension just for some heat, but of course they hugged and made up afterwards. They're best friends again. I thought this was an awesome opener. We had the CM Punk announcement that he will be facing Hangman Page at the pay-per-view. He very cleverly said, I can't promise I'm going to win, but I can promise that Hangman will know he's in a fight. I'll talk more about that tonight and maybe later if we have time. Had a Scorpio Sky Dan Lambert segment backstage talking about the ladder match later. Danielson, Moxley, Wheeler Yuta beat QT, Nick Camarado, and Aaron Solo. Hey, if you like violence, have I got the six-man group for you? It's a Blackpool Combat Club. These are not make the other team shine. You give them a couple of spots, and then you just beat the heck out of them. And that's what they did, and they gave the win to Yuta again. Triple violence should be the name of their finish, and that was that. Had a Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Tony Storm segment that Ruby Soho showed up for. So they're all in the women's Owen Hart Cup, but I think they're probably going to be doing a tag match as well. That seems to be what was indicated here. We had a Jungle Boy Luchasaurus Christian segment where Jungle Boy is sad for losing last week, but says he doesn't want to sound like a sore loser. And Christian says, you don't sound like a sore loser. You just sound like a loser. And there's that pause so everyone can go, what the? And then he goes, but you're not a loser. You're a winner. Put that belt over your shoulder. And they set up Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, but it's coming, everybody. The secret plan. It's going to happen one of these days. We had Wardlow and Lance Archer. Bro, I thought this match was really good. Wardlow was doing all sorts of crazy stuff with his giant. Wardlow got to play like a small luchador against his giant Lance Archer. And the fans still wait for him to make his comeback. You know, they're still kind of quiet during the heat, but he made his big comeback. They had some great near falls. He kicked out of the blackout, and then he finally hit a senton and 4 power bombs on this big dude, and he got the win. This was good. We had a Jericho Appreciation Society segment. So essentially what happened here, to cut to the chase, Eddie Kingston gets right in Jericho's face, and he's cutting this promo, and he's promising to put him in the ground. They're not allowed to touch each other during the segment, so it's all verbal. But then later, because the segment's over, like this 24/7 title, Jericho Appreciation Society jumps him in the parking garage. They beat the hell out of him. And then this dastardly Jericho throws a damn fireball into Eddie Kingston's face, burns his face off. We're leading to something here. I'm thinking this is going to be blood and guts. And we obviously have to have some matches leading up to that. But this was... and the announcers are just disgusted, this Chris Jericho using fire. Serena Deeb beat Hikaru Shida in a good match. It was a Philadelphia street fight, so all the gimmicks and everything like that. And Deeb, like, she worked over her knee, put her in the cloverleaf, and tapped her out. So it looks like Serena Deeb is next in line for Thunder Rosa. And, man, I watch these Serena Deeb matches, and if this Blackpool Combat Club needs a woman, I got the woman for you. She's great. MJF Sean Spears promo, where MJF makes a call to a mystery wrestler who is bigger. He says he's smarter, stronger, and taller than Wardlow, and you can't teach that. So it looks like the former big cast, W. Morrissey, is going to be on Dynamite next week to face old Wardlow.
He is taller than Moose.
We had a great segment with Fuego del Sol backstage. Or actually, Fuego del Sol's laid out. House of Black comes out. I can't explain this without revealing what happened. You got to watch it, but it's already over. They got the guy in the ring who you're supposed to think is Alex Abrahantes, and he's cutting a promo, and then Pac returns, and then out of the tunnel comes Alex Abrahantes, because the guy in the ring that you think is Alex is actually the returning Phoenix. And he runs wild, and they run off the House of Black, and they are going to have the match of a lifetime coming up at this pay-per-view here. Had the Undisputed Elite beating Dante Martin, Lee Johnson, Brock Anderson, and the Varsity Blondes. Literally, this is the closest you'll ever see to a not great Young Bucks match, because it was just 6 minutes of Undisputed Elite proving that when we work together, we actually are unbeatable. And they destroyed these guys, and then Matt and Nick put on the Undisputed Elite shirts. So for the moment, we're all on the same page, which might mean it's going to be longer for Kenny Omega to get back than we thought, because they're undoing the dissension, at least for the moment. We'll do the Rampage lineup with old Fauntleroy. We might do this after the break, but I'm wondering if this... can I say the B-A-S-T word on this show, Dom?
Yes.
Can I?
I would.
Technically, yes. You don't have to, but
Well, I'm gonna. This little bastard, I think, was messing with the box this morning. He was trying to log into Byline on his own, and he screwed everything up. That's what I think happened. So we'll see if I let him do the Rampage spoilers. But Dynamite next week, we have got Diana Perazzo and Mercedes Martinez. Wardlow versus the mystery opponent. The Owen Hart Foundation Cup qualifier with Jeff Hardy and Bobby Fish. And that's the lineup thus far. And then this main event, Scorpio Sky and Sammy Guevara. And I'll talk a lot more about this tonight with Vinny. But, I was just baffled with what they were doing with Scorpio Sky. Baffled. I just could not figure out what they were thinking. And the greatest thing that ever happened to him was Sammy Guevara hooking up with Ty Conti and the fans deciding he was a miserable human being and turning on him. Because Scorpio Sky went from the heel that, you don't care about at all. He's not having matches. You think he's killing the title. You don't get it, and then you just lose it. Now, this guy is so over as a babyface. This place, when that guy grabbed that belt and won the title back, I mean, they absolutely exploded. And they're into Dan Lambert, and they are so into Ty Conti and what's her name?
Paige.
Paige Van Zant brawling to set up the tag match that they've been teasing for like a month and a half, 2 months now, which is going to be at the pay-per-view. And, Scorpio Sky won. It was a very good ladder match. Sammy Guevara almost killed himself because he did not listen to my rant about Sting and his dives. Instead, he did a completely impossible-to-catch dive, and they almost both died. But I think he's okay because he kept working the rest of the match. And Sky went up. Sammy almost stopped him. Fans were deflated, like, they didn't get it. But then Scorpio shoved him off the ladder again, went up, got the belt. Place just went absolutely crazy. I thought this was a home run, except for the near-death experience. And very, very fun ending to a very, very good edition of this Dynamite show.
There's no way that dude's okay. He's not injured, but I don't know how he woke up this morning and was okay. Just incredible recuperative powers, if that's the case. Curious, if Cody would have stayed, it's interesting to see exactly what they would have done because obviously Sammy and Ty absolutely fit that position that Cody was in, except they turned it on even more, and they've been getting outright booed even more. Cody at least had some support, but it's interesting after this. What do you do with Dan Lambert? I mean, Dad Lambert from a couple weeks ago, Ethan Page being such a great heel, Scorpio Sky, he's the one who could actually benefit if they actually turned into a babyface unit, but fascinating how everything actually turned out and what the fortunes are now for Sammy and Ty there at the end. But, yeah, I mean, some really good stuff on this show. A lot of people also got to see what, we used to see with the Horsemen and groups like that when they would come in, wrestle a match, and just dominate three guys. I mean, I thought it was a nice showcase there. Obviously, with Dax and Cash, that was fantastic. Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida, which... Yeah, I like Serena Deeb. That's the one thing I like about, people come out in the street fight. People are probably expecting something wacky, and Hikaru Shida sort of, kind of had some street fight gear on. But, Serena Deeb going out there as a pro she always is in her gear for that street fight, I thought was a good touch. And the last thing, I guess, for me, the fireball from Jericho, I thought it went really well. I'm wondering if they were nervous to do that in the ring in front of everybody, but I thought that's where... I thought that would have been kind of cool, old school style. Guy turns around and that fireball's right in his face. But, it did accomplish the goal. He did throw it and out in the back. So, yeah.
It was more gritty. It was more gritty in the back. Plus, you could, make sure if the thing didn't go off, you could do it again. You don't want Warrior and Hogan in the flash paper. That was a disaster.
No. And that flash paper's expensive, too.
Hey,
still is.
I'm going to let him do it, but he's got to stay over there. I don't want him near me right now.
Uh-oh.
Here's your Rampage non-spoiler lineup for this coming Friday.
Owen Hart Foundation Cup qualifier, Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland. Hook versus Danhausen. Jade Cargill and the Baddies Red Velvet and Kiera Hogan versus Willow Nightingale, Trish Adora and Sky Blue. Keith Lee versus Colton Gunn. Road TV Championship, Samoa Joe C versus Trent Beretta.
Fowler's a little slow today. I don't know what's going on. Probably knows he's in trouble. Back in a moment. Observer Live.
What's up? It's Denise, and I'm back with a part 2 of the best moments from the WWE press scrum with Cody Rhodes. Take a look.
We had a meeting in Atlanta, and I didn't expect the meeting to go bad, but I thought, I'll be presented with something that is not for me, but I'll be able to say, thank you so much, and I'll be able to get closure on the first chapter, because the first chapter ended real poorly. Hey, I'll see you next week. No, you won't. And hey, here's my post on how I'm gone, guys. No one's keeping me down like this. So I never got closure on that. I never got it with Hunter. I never got it with Vince. I never got it. And that conversation was just sparkling, and it was really 95% of that conversation was about my daughter. We were broke. My dad started Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling, and man, he's like, just here's $3 million. Just throw it in a hole and forget where the hole is. And it was so much money, and he didn't want us to know we were broke, you know, because he found ways, you know, and a lot of that was through independent wrestling. People who have covered my journey know there's some promoters I consistently hit up because I owed them, and they didn't know me. And yeah, one time our power went out, and me and my sister were too proud of him to know, hey, he didn't pay the bill, and we didn't say anything. But in 2015, WWE, I think it was 2005, I'm sorry. 2015 is when I left. 2005, when he went back to WWE, I remember they put his picture on WWE.com, and he went, and he was a writer for SmackDown. He was working with Stephanie, and he was having a great time. And he did that DVD. And he got the residual check for that DVD. And my mom hit her knees and thanked God. Because it kind of saved our family. So, you know, that's tons of equity. I can break every throne. I can make fun of some of the fun things there are that we all make fun of as wrestling fans. But you're still that kid. I wanted him to know that, and I got to tell him that. So yeah, and then the fun part was the pitch was really good. It was really good, and I thought, I thought he was going to tell me something terrible, and this was really good, and it was kind of everything I needed to hear, and it became the easiest decision I've ever made because it wasn't about money. Everybody pays really well in wrestling now, thankfully. It was about unfinished business. So yeah, thank you.
I hope you enjoyed both of these roundups. Now have fun and enjoy the rest of Wrestling Observer Live.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. So during the break, old Fauntleroy begged me to let him say one more thing. He claims he's got a correction, and so I agreed to let him do it, much to my dismay, but here we go.
I apologize to the Twitch homies and listeners, and especially to the people listening free on YouTube because they're the best. Hook and Danhausen are actually having a face-to-face confrontation, not a match as I indicated. Sorry, everybody.
Sorry, everybody.
Not gonna apologize for calling it the Row TV title or whatever the hell they called it.
Dude, he's got a lot of problems.
Hey, for those people who can't read, by the way, maybe you should start reading. This would be a good place to start. Blood and Fire, the new book by Brian Solomon about the life and times of the mysterious Sheik, the original Sheik, who still to this day has got a lot more kayfabe wrapped around him and hidden things wrapped around him. And he goes and undoes all those things. And a guy who was kept the business so close to his vest, even his closest friends didn't know a lot about him. There you go. Great book.
Who's playing the guitar over there?
That was a ting the Red Bull can here. I'm going to do something stronger than this when this show's over, too. I can tell you that.
We're out of time, everybody. We got to wrap it up. Lots of stuff coming up this weekend. Yes, Stardom is this weekend. We'll be reviewing the semifinals and finals of the Cinderella tournament on the filthy Tom Lawler show coming up on Monday, plus New Japan Strong and more. Only for subscribers. WrestlingObserver.com, video.f4wonline.com. Back later on tonight, Bryan and Vinny talking AEW and NXT. We'll talk to you then at Wrestling Observer Live.